What is meant by saying that keep your sharirs lighter? As you know, there's three sharirs. The Panch Mahabhut, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, fire, earth, air, water, ether, gross body. Then there is the subtle body, which in terms of the sheaths, you can think of as the composite of the Pranmayi Sharir, the Gyanmayi Sharir, and the Manomayi Sharir, representing the Prana or the life airs, the Man or the desire realm, and the truth realm or the Gyan Sharir. And below that, of course, the innermost core is the Karan Sharir, which has the Atman residing in Anand because it's the Anandmayi Sharir. So the Annamaya or the outermost Sharir is the one I wanted to talk most about because that's what most of us relate to in terms of scaffold or body in which the soul resides. Very important to keep all the Sharirs, including the Annamaya outermost sheath or the Sthul Sharir, cross body, light. The way to keep it light is to minimize the influence of the Panch Mahabhuts inside the body. So while we need Prakriti to live a harmonious life and come at as beings in this world, because the soul needs a vehicle which is the body, it is important that our body or the car is fuel efficient and is light so that it can run swiftly and can be maneuvered in the ways we want it to be maneuvered. So you can translate that as the plith flexibility of the body, which is of course very important for being healthy. And that's what Ashtanga Yoga, part of it, the Yogasan part of the Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Pranayam, Asan, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Those are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So the fourth one is the Yoga Asan, which is all the body exercises, stretching ones that we do, which is basically making your body plith and pliable and flexible. So that is one. The second thing is intermittent fasting. When we do intermittent fasting, you are reducing the amount of food that you are eating. In that way, the Jataragni or the digestive fire in the belly or the epigastrium is lit up. So whatever we eat will be absorbed easier, will be assimilated better and better utilized by the body. And by the same token, when we do intermittent fasting, the cells in the body will undergo apoptosis or programmed cell death. And the ones that are the weakest, malfunctioning, are the first ones to be eliminated, just like Darwin's survival of the fittest. So the precancer cells, which have dysregulation of the genes and mutations, are malfunctional. They will thrive when you give them enough glucose and food. But when you're fasting, those non-working cells are the first to die, and that's how you get rid of precancerous cells by doing intermittent fasting. The intermittent fasting also helps develop brain-derived neurotropic factor. This is the same chemical that is released in people who are meditating, because that is what brings you solace, peace, harmony, sense of equanimity within yourself and with the people you are relating to. The third thing is retention of vital fluids. The semen is such an important fluid, the end of the Sapta Dhatus. So it represents the final condensation of the Dhatus from Ras, Rakt, Mans, Med, Majja, Asthi into Shukra. So last one is Shukra, and that is what is ascending through your channels, the Ida and the Pingla, and through the central channel Sushumna, going upward. So if you want to gradually rise in your chakras, it's important that you retain everything that you are eating that has been assimilated into the Sapta Dhatus, into the final Dhatu, which is the reproductive energy. If that is conserved as much as we can in terms of not wasting it every night, in activities of PMO. That way, you are allowing the fluids to ascend up, the oja to ascend up through the nadis, and that's how you remove the blockages in the nadis which are responsible for different kinds of illnesses, whether they are metabolic, endocrine, allergy induced. All of them will be slowly released as the oja flows upwards through the chakras. Chakras are basically the halt stations between the nadis or the channels, while ascending of the energy can happen from the lowest station, which is the Muladhara, upwards towards Sahasrara, which is the highest station. So, by keeping our Annamay Sharir or the Annamay Kosha, translating into the Sthul Sharir or gross body, by keeping it light, by reducing the amount of food we eat and eating high quality sattvic foods, which are foods that are not too spicy, oily, salty, sugary, and these foods are consumed within 3 hours of being cooked, that food will be better digested and won't be sitting stale in the stomach, because when it is not being digested, it is breaking down into amla, and amla pit, that is the condition in which you get dyspepsia, bloating, irritable bowel syndrome. So very important that you eat once or twice a day. Include foods based on your body type, vat, pit, kapha. So I cannot give you a generalization that everybody should eat ginger water, everybody should eat cumin. So it depends on your body type. Obviously, if you have too much of kapha, then you want foods which are pro-metabolizing, like ginger. But if you are too pitta, if you eat too much of ginger, you can get peptic ulcers. So you have to know your body type and then determine what kind of foods you are consuming. But in general, foods which are more bitter, the alkaloid variety of foods, they are good for the people with pitta quality. The foods which are increasing the Jataragni, like ginger, are good for the kapha people. And the foods that are rich in snigdha, which is lubrication, ghee, oils, those are good for the vat people. But you have to know your body type and determine what kind of foods you eat. But regardless of the body type you have, yuktahar vihar rase yuk cheshta se karmsu, consuming regulated small quantities of food is going to be helpful for all the three people. More so for the kapha quality, but for all the three people. So, my friends, we have to reduce the food intake. We have to conserve the sapt dhatus, and we have to do Ashtanga yoga. By doing these three practices, and obviously intermittent fasting itself is under the pratyahara, the fifth limb of Ashtanga yoga. By doing these practices, we are not making our sthul sharir, gross body, heavy. When it is heavy, there will be accumulation of the excess dhatu in all the 7 realms, be it the ras, which is causing too much of pitta, causing dyspepsia, be it the rakt, which is causing too much of blood cells, leukemia, polycythemia. The fat will cause adiposity, adipose tissue formation, causing lots of different problems. There will be the bone spurs on the asthi. There will be the too much of bone marrow hyperplasia, causing all sorts of blood dyscrasias. There will be BPH, prostate hypertrophy, because the muscles in the prostate are increasing. So whether you consider, or excess libido in case of Shukra, but whatever dhatu you are considering, if there is too much of that dhatu, that can also damage us. So too much is not good. Ati sarvatra varjet. We have to be in a state of balance, equanimity, and that is what sattva is providing. It's providing you balance, and it is providing you levity. Those are the two qualities that we have to develop in our gross body, the Panch Mahabhut. And by doing this, one of the major changes you will see is that your allergies have gone down. Your nasal congestion, sinus problems, psoriasis, everything that is trivial allergies, those will get better. I'm not talking about the big autoimmune disorders like eczema, psoriasis and inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. Those are obviously a different level of autoimmune dysregulation, but at least the smaller ones like hives, skin rashes, nasal congestion, headaches, those, most of them will get better if you regulate your food, know your body type, and eat according to your dosha, and then do regulate intermittent fasting, because a lot of adipose tissue causes asthma and a lot of adipose tissue causes allergies. Just like the snow is melted by the first rays of sun during spring, we need to remove the excess body fat and depositions that we have accumulated in the kapha in the cold winter months from eating the foods that are causing increase in body weight. Whether it's animals, they hibernate, or individuals, especially in these times of quarantine where we are sitting at home all day and not moving around a lot, it's very important to be doing increased metabolism activities, increased exercises, including intermittent fasting. That way you can maintain the sattva, levity, and keep the ailments at bay in your sthul sharir. And if you decrease the amount of food you put in your mouth, and if you decrease the amount of vital energies that you lose through organs of procreation, you will be healthier in your body and you will be happier in your mind. Hope you like this audio. Thank you.